Okay, today I'm going to be sharing my pillowy soft, melt in your mouth pumpkin roll recipe. It consists of a super soft pumpkin sheet cake that is full of cozy spices, which is filled with a not too sweet cream cheese buttercream. And the best part is, it is super easy to make. So to start off, you want to preheat your oven to 170°C or 340°F with the fan turned on, also known as convection mode, and line an 18 by 13 inch baking tray, which is also known as a half sheet pan. You only need to line the pan long ways, and I like to lightly grease the pan first before placing the baking paper or parchment paper on top, just so that it sticks to the pan and doesn't move around. Now once that's done, just set your tray aside for now, and there is one more step before we move on to the cake batter, and that is preparing the tea towel that we're going to be rolling the cake in as soon as it's out of the oven. So all you need to do is lay out a clean, dry kitchen towel and dust it with a thin layer of icing sugar, also known as powdered sugar, and you're going to need about 40 grams or 1/3 cup. You can even use your hands to kind of spread the powdered sugar out if you feel like it isn't quite even throughout, and then you just want to set the kitchen towel aside for later. Now next we are on to our super easy cake batter. So first we're going to sift together our dry ingredients. So I've got 60 grams or 1/2 cup of plain all-purpose flour, 30 grams or 1/4 cup of cornstarch, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger powder, 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1/4 teaspoon of allspice, and 1/8 teaspoon of ground cloves. And then using a whisk, you just want to mix that all together until it's well combined. Okay, now just set your dry ingredients aside for now, and next in a large bowl combine 150 grams or 3/4 cup of white granulated sugar and 3 large eggs. And then using a hand or stand mixer on a medium-high speed, whip that for about 4 minutes until it's thick and fluffy. And then turn down the mixer to low and mix for a further minute to help get rid of any large air bubbles. Now the amount of time it takes to get to that thick and fluffy texture that we want may vary depending on the strength and size of your mixer. Now once that's done, you just want to get all of that batter off of the attachments because we're going to be doing the rest of the mixing by hand. Now to your egg sugar mixture, you want to add in 180 grams or 3/4 cup of room temperature pure pumpkin puree. I like to use Libby's canned pumpkin, but you can use fresh pumpkin puree too. You just need to make sure that your pumpkin doesn't have too much liquid in it. And then you also want to add in 2 teaspoons of unflavored vegetable oil, I use canola oil, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And then using a spatula, you just want to gently fold that in until it's almost combined. Now to finish off, you want to add in your pre-sifted dry ingredients from earlier, and again gently fold that in until it's just combined. You don't want to overmix the batter, so only mix until you can't see any more unmixed pockets of flour. Okay, so that is our batter all done. It smells so incredibly good, and now you just want to evenly distribute it into our pre-prepared baking pan. I like to use my offset spatula to spread the mixture out. It just makes it so much easier and really helps with spreading it out evenly. Now once that's done, I like to give my tray a little shake just to ensure the batter is evenly distributed, and then I also drop the tray lightly on the counter to remove any large air bubbles, and then I also tap the bottom of the tray a few times too. Okay, and now this is ready to go into the oven for 12 minutes or until the top is set and gently bounces back when you touch it. So my cake is out of the oven now. It's still nice and hot, and now I'm just running a thin knife around the long edge of the pan just to release the cake from the cake pan, and then I'm immediately inverting it onto my kitchen towel from earlier that I dusted with the powdered sugar. Now this step can be a little nerve-wracking, but you just have to do it quickly with a lot of confidence. Now once that's done, you want to peel off the baking paper and then immediately roll the warm cake tightly in the tea towel. This is going to help the cake form that rolled shape that we want, and by doing this, it's going to make it easier to roll back into that shape once it's cold. Now, once that's all nicely rolled up, you just want to let this come to room temperature, which should take about an hour or so. And then once it's ready, you want to move on to making the cream cheese filling. So to start off, place 80 grams or a third cup of room temperature unsalted butter in a bowl and 125 grams or 1 cup of powdered sugar. Then using a hand or stand mixer on a low speed, mix until everything is just combined and then turn up the speed to a medium-high and mix for 2 minutes until it's lighter in color. Next, add in 225 grams or 1 cup of cold cream cheese and 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and then mix that in until everything is well combined and the frosting is smooth. Okay, and that is our super smooth cream cheese frosting all done. Now next you want to unroll the pumpkin cake from earlier. It should be at room temperature now, and then you just want to evenly spread out all of the cream cheese frosting, leaving a little bit of the cake at the end unfrosted. This is just going to make sure that we don't have any frosting coming out at the end of our pumpkin roll. So I just like to use my offset spatula to do this. It really helps with spreading out the frosting nice and evenly. Now once that's done, you want to start rolling up the cake. So make the initial roll as tight as you can, and then about halfway through, just lift up the tea towel and let it do the rolling for you. Now don't worry if some of the cake sticks to the tea towel, it's totally fine. And also don't worry about that icing sugar on the top. That's going to disappear when we place the roll in the fridge. Now once it's rolled up, you want to grab some cling wrap and wrap the roll tightly in the cling wrap and make sure that the bottom of the roll is covered too. Now with the excess cling wrap on the sides, roll it up so that it prevents air from getting to the pumpkin roll and holds it all together tightly. Okay, now all that's left to do is to just let this cake roll sit in the fridge for at least an hour, and this is just going to help everything firm up and give us nicer slices when we come to cutting the roll. So about an hour or so later, I'm just removing the pumpkin roll from the cling wrap. Now if that top layer of skin from your pumpkin roll comes off as you're pulling off the cling wrap, it's totally fine. It just means that the humidity levels in your fridge may be a little high. This usually doesn't happen to me, but I did place my pumpkin roll in a different fridge today, so that's probably why. And then I'm placing the pumpkin roll onto a serving plate. I'm trimming off the edges so that we have some nice clean cuts on each side, and then I'm dusting the top with a little extra icing sugar. And then that is it. This pumpkin roll is now ready to serve. Now when I tell you this pumpkin roll literally melts in your mouth, I honestly mean it. It is so soft, it's wonderfully spiced, and it's not too sweet. That is too good. The flavor is incredible. It's just like so deep and delicate, and I love that that cream cheese frosting isn't too sweet. It just adds a wonderful creamy element to the pumpkin roll. So that is it for today, guys. If you do decide to give this pumpkin roll a go, then please do leave a review on my blog. It really helps my content out, and I absolutely love hearing from you guys. I'll see you in the next video.